did to be different. I did to be different. I did to be different. I did. I did. I did to be different. I did
To the show. My name is Yaya Diamond, and I am your host today. We are on so many different platforms. We are on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. We're on LWR in the UK. We are on, oh my gosh, the DuPont Network. We're on the Right TV Network. We're on everywhere. We're on Dream Chasers Radio. We are everywhere where we can possibly be. And if you know of any other place where we can be, we will be there too. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is such a pleasure to have you. We want to be an inspiration today, and that's why we have Dr. Ted Sutton on the show. He is a real life superhero, I heard that he caught a baby from the third floor of a burning building that was tossed out, and then he did CPR.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, you are 100% correct.
Who is the superhero I'm talking to today?
You know what? It's so funny. Sometimes I'm still trying to figure it out, but I feel I'm a work in progress. So, the history is, yes, I come from, I think, some great DNA with my grandfather being one of the deacons for defense that fought against the Klan, when they were shooting into Black churches. My father was one of the organizers for Dr. King at Southern and Grambling University. My mother worked for Medgar Evers at Jackson State University, and then she became, an educator where she did 35 years in the school system. My father ended up becoming a pastor of Church of God in Christ, and then my uncle was a Black Panther with Bunchy Carter, and then my cousin actually helped start the new Black Panther Party that's in existence today, fighting against injustice that's happening out there. And so that was that side. But then when they moved from the South to Baltimore, I ended up actually getting caught up with one of the roughest groups they had on the East Coast, which was the people that they wrote the series called The Wire behind. And so if anybody ever heard of The Wire, the person they wrote it behind was my godfather, a man named Little Melvin Williams, who they did also American Gangster for Baltimore. So even though I'm known as Dr. Ted, if anybody ever Googles Crazy Ted Sutton, my face will be the first thing to come up. And I think that it's, I'm telling you, I gotta, laugh at it, because it just almost seems like an oxymoron. Like, okay, then so how can you be doctor and also how can you be crazy at the exact same time? Well, what I'm saying, it was definitely something that was part of my journey, but it also put me in a position to be empathetic to people who are actually in the streets and people who have given up on. So for anybody who has ever been given up on, and people said, you look like your father, he's nothing, you're not going to be nothing. For that person that say you just a gangbanger, you never do anything else, or that person that you just a drug dealer, or you just a prostitute, or you just, with anybody that says that, I have to share, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And so people, need to know that actually one thing that I talk about is that your success starts where your comfort zone ends. So for me, I had to come out of that comfort zone. And that's why I shared that message that don't be born an original and die a copy. Because the reason that that's so key for me is because so many of our youth and young people that are out there have been labeled. That's why I tell them, watch the labels that the streets give you, and let them know that I don't care what the streets have named you, as far as you G grimy or little dirt, dummy, and everything else. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, you are Javon, or you are Tyrone, or you are, Josiah. And I need you to remember that so that you can come back and then, and not try to die trying to be something that you're not.
Oh my goodness. You said a mouthful, brother. I don't even know where to begin because it's just so much in there. Let's go back a little bit because, mental health and what you're talking about to me goes hand in hand. And it's like, okay, so you're never going to be nothing, or the people that come and they come after you and they attack you and they attack your talents. What happened to you? How did you pull yourself out of that?
Well, it was so funny because I was the middle child, so I had an older brother that I mean, he looked so good. My older brother was actually man of the month in Essence magazine. I mean, he's doing great things, and then my younger brother, he was the the nice looking one and could do no wrong, and so I was constantly being compared to others, and people never seeing me, but trying to see who they wanted me to be, and
Mm,
so when I got hooked up with a group, in fact, it's funny because one in middle school, they took these pack of butter crunch cookies off of my tray. And and it was about 8 of them, and I stepped to them, and I was just like, "You ain't gonna be just taking these butter crunch cookies up," because I used to like to go home and put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds and let it would bend and it would be all warm, and I was like, and that somebody's like really trying to take me, for weak, and when I stepped to him, and I was like, "Look," and I'm gonna tell you how hard I went. I was like, "Look, y'all gonna have to kill me for these cookies," and it's funny because I feel now in retrospect, it's probably in hindsight, that was a little overkill for the 3-pack cookies. You know what I'm saying? But they ended up like saying, it was funny because they said, well, yo, this dude, we like him because either he's crazy or he don't know who we are. And it's so ironic that that name that came in middle school was something that a person can Google in 2024 and still come up. And so that label actually stuck with me. But the only reason why I do share that when I'm sharing my testimony is because I need to share with a point of reference of how far God has brought me since being Crazy Ted, since being labeled Crazy Ted. And so, and that has been, a real, journey. So, and to be honest with you, had I not had those, situations that, I felt not the chosen one, or I felt not the best looking one or the best dressed one. And I wouldn't have that level of empathy that I had for the underdog or for the
mm,
person that's in that cell somewhere, saying, thinking about, he can't take another day, or that person that's on that bed that's thinking about maybe taking their own life. I mean, I need to let them know, I just need you to come out one more round. I need you to just give me one more round. I need you to just tell me that you can just try one more day. Give me one more day. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you that God can turn your situation around, because I'm not a talking testimony. I'm a walking testimony. And so for me to have gone through some of the things that I have gone through, but this, it's not about that. It's about the surviving it. And I let them know, you know what I'm saying? So, it's been an amazing, journey, the entire time.
mm, mm, mm. You are not only an inspiration, you have two books. Tell me about
Yes. Well, my book, the first one, which is, I guess, straight out of the hands of Crazy Ted, is called Temporarily Insane. Because I feel that time that I really, was going through, and when I look at some of the actions of some of our youth and what's happening in the streets, I kind of have a mentality of, God forgive them, for they know not what they do. And because because I'm seeing certain things, and so in my other book was called From Pain to Power, and that is based on my journey, because it's all focusing on that we have to take every bit of pain that this world has thrown at us, and we have to channel it into and harness it into a level of power, like a nuclear power, and chain and throw it right back at the world, and use the same thing that was designed to destroy you to be the
it.
platform in helping you, and not just you but the ones around you.
Yeah.
Because so the thing is that darkness will always run from the light, and it has to allow your light to really resonate. And then, so because people are looking for a beacon of light. So once you become that beacon, you're going to draw the people around you.
Mm, mm, mm. You know, I'm just amazed at what you can handle. Amazed. I mean, you look back at it. You've gone through so much. How did you handle that? How did you come out on this end sane?
Well, let me tell you this. I mean, I tell people it was not an easy journey, but one thing that I know, see, some people say God will never put more on you than you can handle. Well, actually, He will. The problem is that He's going to handle the rest. He's going to handle every bit of the weight that you're not able to lift. So it looks like you lifting it, but he's the one that's really got your shoulders, and he's pushing your elbows up a little bit. And that's the piece. I think that what made me so different from the guys that was in my crew, is I did have a foundation, what I'm saying, of believers. I did have, a foundation of people who were praying for me. So I had a grandmother that was praying for me when I didn't know I needed prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And what they were doing is they were placing deposits in my spiritual bank account that I was writing checks for, and I had never put no money in it. And so for me, I needed somebody, and so for my friends, they thought a good girlfriend would help them change from the streets. And I'm like, no, you're just going to use her car, riding it with no license. When you get locked up, she's going to be taking her good check, and she's going to be trying to bail you out. It's going to be, and I said, then they think that just getting a good job would help them. And then that turns into a situation where you are trying to figure out how to rob the job. You're trying to set the job up. And, so until you have changed inside, all of the con has to come out of the equation. And so, for me, I saw that the difference is that I had something that was positive that was waiting to embrace me. The moment that I actually changed, they had just been waiting for me to finally figure out who I was and whose I was. And I think that was something that was significant, for me.
Mm. Well, okay. Ooh. You have the Wise series. Am I correct?
Excuse me?
The Real Story. The
Oh,
Wise.
yeah, talking about The Wire.
The Wire, yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Well, that was based on, see, I would have been one of the younger people in it, but it was based on my godfather, who was the man that was little Melvin Williams. And just to give you, I guess, a little bit, I gave you my civil rights genealogy. Well, let me give you
Right.
that street piece, what I'm saying, genealogy. My godfather was little Melvin Williams. His godfather was a man named Julius the Lord Salisbury, who ran the mob in Baltimore. And then his godfather was a man named Meyer Lansky, and that was Lucky Luciano and Al Capone's partner.
You
And
can't.
so I ended
My
up being,
gosh. And
that's
come on,
that's
man.
the real deal.
Wow.
So I ended up coming under what was considered made men. And so, for me, what I'm saying, it was really something. And so I didn't really embrace that my father was one of the second administrative assistants to the bishop of the Church of God in Christ. And my uncles were, pastors, in Norristown, Pennsylvania, and in, different parts of the country. And then my cousins, my mother's first cousins were the William brothers, the famous gospel singers out of Jackson, Mississippi. I didn't embrace that and tell people that. In fact, I was ashamed when my father would come up to the school wearing that collar. I didn't want anybody to know that my family was in the church. And he would even park in front of the school with the clergy sign in the window. And I'm like, why is he doing this? Is he trying to intentionally make me the most unpopular person in the school? Or was this But I thought about it later in hindsight. You see, it's bad to not be blessed, but it's worse to be blessed. Being blessed, and I had no idea that I was blessed. I was oblivious that I was blessed. And so for that, because I think about it now, and I always say, I say, what would Baltimore be if they had fathers that would come to the trap house to get their sons? Fathers to go to the club to get their sons. Saying fathers that would go into schools to embrace their daughters and in a healthy way. And so what would Baltimore be if we would just take back the position that society has tried to take away from us?
Mm, mm, mm. Yeah. Oh, I just I don't even know. Okay, so you have come from a, how would I say, a predicament where you were almost, or were you put um behind bars for something you didn't do, to where you are today to inspire children to stay from those incidents,
Oh yeah.
and to stay away from people who may associate you and you might be guilty by association.
Right,
Tell
right.
me about that.
What's so ironic about that? I tell that day, and it seemed like it should have been the most horrific day of my life, but it ended up being like the tale of two cities. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Meaning that, I ended up actually being in a situation where they were offering me 15 years for something I did not do. Now, I never say I was innocent because I wasn't living an innocent life. But the thing that I was actually sitting in court for, I had not done. And it was really something because I had a friend that was caught up with where he had and I had to be broken. See, but one thing about being broken, when you're broken, you have more pieces to work with. And so that had to be my situation. I had to be broken down I had to be squared. I had to be broken down to the last compound. And so what ended up happening that one year, see, I owned my first car at 15, my first house at 19. And something about when you feel you know everything, people can't teach a person who feel they know everything.
No.
And so I was in that situation. And so I ended up, and I think God was working with me, even when I didn't know he was working with me. And so I had one year that so many things happened, I almost lost my mind. First, my godfather ended up receiving 35 years in prison with the federal prison. My best friend was gunned down, and I had to hold his brains in while the paramedics came. Two guys in my crew both received life plus 20 at the age of 19. And then my girl, my ride or die boo, she ended up actually getting diagnosed with cancer, and she passed away within a year of her diagnosis. And then I had one of my guys who was one of my pit bulls. He was good with the hands. He could really throw them hands. Well, he ended up getting gunned down in front of me, and he was paralyzed from the neck down. And even when I got to the hospital, when he told me, he said, "Man," he said, the doctor said I will never move anything below my neck." And he had one question. He said, "Big homie," he said, "who gonna love me?" And I didn't have an answer. The person who know everything. And then I had, all of and then I had my god brother who actually kind of broke the rules. So he started getting high because I wasn't a drug dealer. I would have been considered in collections. So I helped people to persuade them to, with an extreme prejudice, to pay their bills that they owed people. And so then my god brother, though, he started getting high, and he ended up going through $167,000 of our money in one year. And then my one of my closest friends, I'm his son's godfather, and my man, he ended up getting caught with a carload of guns, and to get himself out, he sent the ATF to my house, and my house was raided. And they almost shot my pit bulls, my Rockwellers, two guys in my crew, and my nephew. Then they went to my church going parents' house, Pastor Sutton and Evangelist Sutton, went to, Principal Sutton, civil rights leader Sutton. They went to their house and raided their house, and they had nothing to do with my foolishness. And that was probably the worst. Well, they mainly was focusing on my room, my old room, and I didn't even live there anymore. And I think that was something that hurt me more than me being raided, than my house. I didn't care about my house being raided or them searching my car, but my parents who always just, I never even heard my mother use profanity, not one time in my life. And so for me, that was the best of times. It was the worst of times. But what happened is when I was sitting in court, and I had only two people to show up for me. So when I was out there popular and buying everything for everybody, I was the most populous person in the world. But right now, I had only two people, and the one that was there, he was testifying against me, or testifying against me. And so he showed up. And then the only other person that showed up was one of my friends. And when he looked at me, I looked at him, I give him the head nod, still trying to be a little cool. And he came in the courtroom, he looked at me, and then he looked down at the ground and he went to the back of the courtroom. And I realized what was happening. He didn't want anybody to even know he knew Crazy Ted. And that was something. So turning from him, from the only person that came to see me who won't do like how I thought it would be in the movies. You know, they come to the desk, yo, I got you. You know, if you need commissary, I got you. I'm going to make sure your mother good. I'm going to check on your peoples. It was none of that. And so I tell the message to when I'm talking to young people that even if you don't remember my name is Dr. Ted Sutton, just remember this one message. The worst thing that could ever happen to you is for you to fall in love with something that don't love you back. See, when you love something that don't love you, it does all of the taking. And you just do all of the giving till you don't have nothing else to give no more. And then it don't need you anymore. And that was the situation that I personally was in at the time. And so it ended up being a situation. And so I left out of that when they had put me from the morning docket to the evening docket. I ended up going into the Mitchell Courthouse building in the bathroom on the second floor, fourth bathroom stall. And I got down. And it's funny because actually it was toilet water on the floor. It was the only stall that was open. I got down in the toilet water. And I asked for God to give me a second chance, the person who didn't deserve it, a person who ain't getting what he's earned. And in fact, I didn't even ask for a full second chance because I said, you have done too much. I asked for God to just give me half of whatever I'm supposed to get. And when I went back into that courtroom, they had read off my old arrest record, and they said I'd been arrested before for racketeering, loan sharking, handgun, assault with a handgun, and strong arming. They said the state's attorney said this young man should not be allowed to go back into the community. And, and that was something. But I tell you, I think God had a different plan for me. And so when that judge held that paper up, looking at what I had done, and he was looking up and he put his glasses up on his forehead and he was looking in the ceiling. And so he was saying, I got to give him 15 years. And God said, don't do it. He said, I got to give him the 7 years. He said, no, let me handle him. He said, I got to give him the 4 years. He said, that's my property. And he said, I got to at least give him the 18 months. He said, I'm going to deal with him. And they ended up dismissing all charges on me. And I still sat in the seat. Now, let me tell you the crazy part about it. I had already chosen what jail to go to. I said, when you get your time, don't cry because you ain't crying in the streets. Don't cry now. And I said, I don't want to go in the Eastern Shore. I didn't want to go to Hagerstown. I said, send me to Jessup prison and I'll just do whatever I got to do. And let me tell you, they had to put me out the courtroom. The judge had to say a second time, Mr. Sutton, I said you can go. He said, but I hope I never see you like this again. And I said, Your Honor, you will never see me like this again. And I went out and got my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, my doctorate degree. I started transitional housing for gang members. I started an independent living program for young men aging out of foster care. I started a recording studio, helping some people get signed to major record labels. I wrote the book Temporarily Insane, another one From Pain to Power. I became a consultant for the show Law and Order, Special Victims Unit. I partnered up with Martin Luther King's daughter. I started going around the different King centers, and then people started to hear about me. So I started working with gang members all over the country and then the world. Bloods in California, Crips in Little Rock, Arkansas, Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples in Chicago, Junior Black Mafia, Philadelphia, Ninth Ward Boys in New Orleans, the 515 Boys in London, the Johnsons, the Burgers in the UK, the East Side Boys in Zimbabwe, the Americans in South Africa, the Rasta Boys in Montego Bay, the Insane Vice Lords, Jackson, Mississippi. And you know what? And I just been going all over, the world, what I'm saying, with one message, letting them know it ain't how you start, it's how you finish.
My goodness. My goodness. Wow. Most people would say that one person can't change the world.
I ain't serious.
Liars. They're liars. They are liars. Because in their own
No, now one of my young guys was just letting me know he was leaving.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so go ahead.
No, and their own inability to go after their own dreams, they cripple other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. Because
Yes.
one person can change the world.
Oh yeah. Well, if you
Yes,
see this, it said people can change.
that's
That's
right.
my slogan. And
That's
people
right.
can change.
Wow.
You know.
Wow. So
In
tell
fact,
me,
it's funny though.
go ahead.
I was going to say, the Rolling Stone magazine had interviewed me and they asked me what was the most significant place I spoke at. And I said, well, I guess I could say when I met Obama at the White House, or when John Conyers had asked me to speak at Congress, or when I spoke in Parliament, or in front of Mandela's house in South Africa. But I actually said, but it was actually when I was be asked to be the speaker, the keynote speaker at my high school, where my principal had placed a bet I wouldn't make it to 21. And my counselor said I shouldn't attempt to go to college. And I ended up being the keynote speaker. And my message was, you're not trash, you're just tarnished. And what was the icing on the cake was the a man named Congressman Elijah Cummings was sitting next to me,
Mm.
and he looked at the program, and he looked at me, and then he looked at the program, and he said, young brother, you got to tell me what you've been doing lately. I said, yes, sir. I said, because the last time we were sitting next to each other, this was not the situation, because he was my lawyer defending me for assault and possession with a handgun, and I was his last case that he defended. But when he became a congressman, I was his last case that he defended.
Wow.
And so, and the other part that was the icing with the cherry on top of it was the counselor who said I shouldn't attempt to go to college was at the school and had to hear me speak. And check this out. And now I have a higher degree than what he does. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so glad that man don't choose who God gonna use.
Exactly. 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 Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Doctor, I mean, there is just, I mean, how do you do what you do today? And what do you do I mean, what are you doing today? Because I want to know, because I think that, a lot of people can take the cue from you to say that, yeah, you can change. People can change.
Yes, yes, yes. That's the key piece. I mean, to be honest with you, your passion will help define your purpose. So whatever you are passionate about, saying that is your purpose. That's why I tell people don't chase the dream, don't chase the money, chase the dream. See, a lot of people chasing the bag, but they don't know that it's just a bag. And the bag is even made out of just paper. And so, so for me, I've been able to find something to fight for. See, some of these young men that's out here doing this reckless stuff, see, they've proven they can die. They've proven that they can take life. They haven't proven that they can live.
Mm.
And so I want them to prove that you can actually live. They don't have to die from lead poisoning, from that gun or whatever the situation is. So when I changed my life, I mean, everything I ended up starting, a mentoring program. I started People Can Change Youth Movement. I started actually the Men Against Murder. I'm a part of a situation of organization. I'm the vice president of First Line Strategies, where we also help returning citizens, and we help people to get even in our building, you can get licensed and certified in welding, furniture making, and dealing with drones, embroidering, the sewing machines. You can get certified in 3D printing, all of that stuff. And so I did an anti-bullying curriculum, an anti-gang intervention. I'm actually just getting back from Canada speaking at the federal prison in front of 400 men. And the reason I was there for Black History Month is because I ended up speaking there, one time before, and it went so well, got a standing ovation, that the men went to the warden and requested for them to bring me back. And
Wow.
so, it was amazing. It was amazing. So,
Wow.
that was just pretty much just how that was.
I mean, we could be here all night.
Yeah, I know, I know.
I mean, I could pick your mind. I mean,
Yeah,
I could keep
yeah.
the questions coming.
And look, and I would want it too. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready for all the smoke. I'm ready for, you know what I'm saying, because what I realize is that I said I wasn't a mediocre sinner, so it's no way for me to be a mediocre saint.
No, no, there is
You know
no
what I'm
way.
saying? Meaning like
Uh,
I can't even do that if I wanted to. I can't tone down. I can't tone down. In fact, you know, I give some conferences and workshops that I'm talking about. I need for brothers to man up.
mhm.
I need for you to man up. I am not going to tone down to your level. You're going to have to come up because I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know anything, you know what I'm saying, you know, about that. So to be given a second chance, in fact, you know, they're actually you know, they're doing a movie on my life called All of a Sudden, like my last name Sutton. And
Mhm.
then a message in my life story has been selected for one of the movies that's being done at the Black Film Festival. It's called United by Vengeance, and that's really talking about how I almost took the life of a brother because me and my father got into it, and a girl had set me up, and I came at these guys. I was trying to get this guy. I'm gonna get you back because that's why me and my father was he had hit me in the face, and I was just so angry. I left out in rage. I said, I want to show everybody that the past ain't perfect, and I'm gonna go and take somebody's life. And I went out there and I saw a guy getting out the cab. I'm like, there he go. And I pulled my sawed off shotgun out. I had it wrapped in a green bag and I put it at the guy's kidney. Still had it in the bag. And I was saying, what's up? And he was like, no, he was like, what's up, man? He was just like, he wasn't giving me the negative energy. I said, no, man, I mean, what's up? And I was just like, my face don't look familiar to you. He was like, no, not really. And I was like, man, what's up with you? And he was like, whatever you want. And I said, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But this brother, his name is Keith Kelly. I call him my angel. He walked up like he didn't see anything negative going on. And he said, cool, Ted. Now, this was me 17. This is my senior year in high school. He said, cool, Ted. I didn't know you knew my friend, my homeboy, Lloyd. And the guy I was looking for was named Black Kenny. I had the wrong person.
Mm.
And I put it down and I said, brother, can you please forgive me? I just got into it with my father. He hit me in the face. I said, I've never been hit in the face, because my father didn't even let my mother hit us in the face. He said he didn't want us to have scars on our face because it makes people think you've led a rough life. And I just was so angry. And he told me, he said, I know the guy you're looking for because I'm looking for his homeboy because he disrespected my sister. And I said, well, look, brother, since you looking for him, I'm looking for his homeboy. Why don't we look for them together? You know what I'm saying? And he said, okay, that's cool. And my senior year in high school, that summer, I graduated. We looked for them guys, and by the grace of God, we never found them. But I share that is because I was the best man at his wedding. He was the best man, at mine. And then we have daughters that are the same age. And now his daughter went to Howard University. Mine went to Jackson State University, and they're friends.
Mm.
And that could have been an entire total different scenario
Yeah.
had some angel not intervened for me. And what I realized with that is in the right place with the right words or actions, you could change the trajectory of what was going to happen.
Mm.
And so if more people would actually help to change, stop being a watcher. Because actually the girl I mentioned that I saved in the house fire, it was something. She found me. Yeah, I didn't never knew what happened to her. She found me and later, and she found me on Facebook, and she said, "Are you the man that saved my life?" And I said, "Oh my God!" And I said, "You got to tell me what happened." And she said, "I was in a John Hopkins burn unit for 18 months." She said I was 85% of my body was burned. She said they had to amputate my hands. She said, I'm in a wheelchair. She said that my hair was burned, my face was burned. And she said, but I'm calling you today to tell you that my brother, the one you caught from the third floor and gave her mouth to mouth, just graduated from Mervo High School. And she said, and I am graduating from Towson State University with a degree in journalism. I said, but I thought you said you don't have no hands. And she said, I don't. She said, I learned how to take them two nubs and write. And I was just amazed that she sent me a picture of her and she was just smiling. And this girl, to me, I don't see no burn marks. I don't see no scars. All I see is that smile. She is beautiful to me. And so she said, but I'm calling you today to just tell you that. And I said, no, boo, I can't let you do that. I said, I can't let you thank me. She said, why not? I said, because I got to thank you. She said, well, what would you be thanking me for? And I said, because that day you proved to me that one man with God can make a difference. And what I realized is that I saw the image of about 65 people out there, standing out there, getting their phones and videotaping like it was entertainment. And I was the one that said, I'm not going to be a watcher no more. So the thing is, I didn't stop being Crazy Ted. I changed sides. So I even tell the guys and the young ladies I'm working with, I don't want you to stop being a hustler. I need for you to change the product. And that was pretty much just how that was. So, I mean, it's been an amazing journey.
No.
So I don't smile much, but you see me smiling.
That's it. That's it. Wow. Wow. Well, where can people find you? Where can they be inspired by your journey and join you?
Well, actually, my website is suttonhousevision.com. That is suttonhousevision.com. And then I'm also on Twitter and Facebook as Dr. Ted Sutton or Ted Sutton, TED. I'm on Instagram, it's Dr. DRTED Sutton, and this has been an amazing time. I mean, I tell people, don't tell anybody. I said, but I actually get paid to do what I would have done for free. That's when you never work a day in your life. You're not even working. You're not even working.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and so it's amazing. So for me to be given the chance that I have a letter that I carry around with me, and it was one of the guys that used to be in my crew. That's the one that's serving life plus 20. He's in a prison underneath the ground in Texas. He's on something called no human contact. He has served the last 18 years in solitary confinement. He wrote me a letter. He said, I'm reading about you in the Rolling Stone magazine. I can't believe I was with somebody that's doing good things. He said, but I need for you to tell those people, when you talk to them young people, please tell them they don't want to be me. He said, I'm locked down 23 hours a day. I'm let out 1 hour. I get one letter a month. He said, I will never hug my daughter again. He said, I will never, I don't know if my grandparents are alive because their letters keep coming back. And he said, but I'm here. He said, but the reason, now this was the part that got me. He said, but the reason I need for you to keep doing what you're doing is because I need for you to know that I'm living my life through your eyes now. From this point on, I have to live my life through everything that you see. So when I was in Hawaii, I took 5 minutes to look at the sea. When I was in South Africa, I took an extra 5 minutes in front of Mandela's house. When I was in Arizona working with those gang members who were on Indian reservations, I went to the Grand Canyon and I just took an extra 5 minutes. And because all those 5 minutes add up, but that's me showing him that I'm taking an extra look just for you, brother. And so, so this has been an amazing journey. So if I get a chance to speak to some people and to talk to some people, all the other stuff of like doing the books and doing the movies. And in fact, I'm supposed to meet with some people from Netflix in April, to pitch, the deal, of just one of my stories. And so, but having all of that's just the extra stuff. But to be able to talk to someone and change how they see life and now they see the opportunity of life. I think that that's like a superpower. And that's one of mine,
I
a
agree.
superpower.
I
Yes.
agree. We have to make a comic book about you.
Okay, I'm with it. Just get the fro in there.
Get the
I gotta
fro.
get that. Yeah, because I feel like I was born in a different time. I was like, I'm a civil rights leader. I'm gonna pick my hair out,
That's
you know.
right.
So that's how that
You
is.
pick your hair out and I won't comb mine. How about that?
Come on, I love it. I love it. It's beautiful
I'm
too.
not
It's
gonna do
beautiful.
it. Combing and grooming is overrated for me. I just can't do it. But definitely I am just it's thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
thank you for changing. Because a lot of people don't
Yeah.
believe that they can. And by you being here on the show today, I am saying that you can change. People can change.
Change. Yes, they can.
Yes, people can change. Thank you so very much, Doctor, for being on the show. I totally
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
We're going to have your link in the description box below so people can reach out to you for whatever the reason, whether they want to join your mission or
Right,
they
right.
want to have you come out and speak at their, in an engagement or something like that.
Yes, I would
Just
love that. I would love that.
such a blessing, such a blessing. Thank you so much for changing and for showing
Thank
people
you.
that they can, and for being the inspiration, and for being that person, like I always say, that sits on the porch and says, "Hey, young man, come here. Let me
Hmm.
talk to you. Let me talk to. Come here. Come here.
Right,
Come
right,
here."
right.
We need those people. We need you. We need
That's
you.
me. That's
That's it.
me.
That's it. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, check out that website, okay? Because I'm going to say that you too can be an inspiration. Maybe you're sitting on the
Yeah,
sidelines thinking that,
right,
you
right.
have your phone out. Maybe you're the one that's recording. Put the phone down and join.
Hmm. That's
Okay?
right.
That's right.
That's right.
Until next time, guys. Bye.
All right. Peace.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube and Instagram. Thank you for watching.